Can you see me on camera? Cool. Well, hey everyone, thanks for coming. It's kind of great. We have a lot of new people. New people, but some people I do know, which is great. Some people from the first Monday last week, which is awesome to see y'all here. Thanks, Karen and Claire. Um, I think you all are probably aware of what Night Owl is, but I do like to to go through this for the purpose of video here, because we are being filmed for the interview tonight. Afterwards, we'll have a discussion, and that will not be filmed. So that'll be you'll be free to say what you need to say in a supportive environment. So, but for here, we have an interview on stage. We put it up on Artichoke's website afterwards. So this is our 7th Night Owl. We did have 2 of them that did not have an interview. We did more of sort of like a 2-hour workshop sort of thing. But so we have about 5 videos. I don't think they're all up yet, but we'll get those up as soon as we can. So you can watch the past interviews that we've had. I always like to try to bring people in that are people that really honestly interest me, and people who have been in the industry in some way and have done some pretty unique things. Women and gender diverse people that have really just sort of, I feel like, make an impact in the community, and I want people to know about and have something to say and about their experience as women and gender diverse people in the community. So that's kind of how I choose. And then sometimes we have professional development angled ones as well. So we can sort of demystify some of the more, I would say, like with artists, there's a lot of things, like I was just talking to a couple of people in the back about like sync licensing or publishing and things like that, which I think can be kind of an unknown world for artists a lot. So, but we have all kinds of people here tonight, which is really exciting as well. It's not just musicians, it's a really good group of people. So take time to talk to people when you get a chance. But what is Night Owl? It's a women and gender diverse music industry gathering. So far, it's going to be more than that at some point. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm hoping that y'all will be a part of that. So this is sort of the statement that I read every time, but women and gender diverse people are still wildly underrepresented in the music industry. As people experiencing barriers to our success, we deserve collaborative spaces where we can meet our peers and build systems of support to help us navigate our careers. We want to challenge the systems that work against us and imagine more sustainable, equitable business models in music. Ways of living our lives that will give us full access to participating in our society and building the world we want to see, the music industry we want to see. So just a few little things. I already mentioned that the conversation afterwards won't be filmed. That said, too, if you hear something in conversation that's kind of personal, please don't share it outside of this room. And so I want people to feel like they can talk about what they need to talk about here. We are a solutions-focused group. I joke about this a little bit because I do think this is a supportive group, and I want people to feel comfortable with each other. That's the whole point. But we aren't group therapy, is my joke. So, what I mean by that is, while we are supportive and while we do have a space to talk about the things that we go through together, I really do want to focus on what we can do about it. And so I think that can be by doing, by strengthening this community, that we can do that. So, yeah. Also, I like to say that I'm not an expert on this stuff. I do this because I'm curious, and I think all of y'all are too. And so when I bring in guests, it doesn't mean I'm an expert. I will say a little bit about my background, since a lot of you are new. I was the director of operations of Music Oregon and Music Portland for 2.5 years, until they had to lay off their staff recently. And I sit on the music advisory council, and they just changed the name. So the Music Advisory Council for Portland, which is part of Music Portland as well. It used to be the Music Policy Council. And I also sit on the advisory council for the Music and Sonic Arts program at Portland Community College. So I get around a little bit. And when I was laid off at Music Portland, I really wanted to continue to do this work, but particularly in this particular community, which I feel is my community, women and gender diverse people. So that all said, yeah, anyone is welcome to participate here, however you identify. Let's work together to center and actively listen to the voices of those who identify as women or gender diverse in the room. So we're not policing who's in here or anything. Anyone is welcome. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I really want to get started with our guest today. I want to go ahead and welcome to the stage Eryn Bloom of Queen Jane Studios. Let's see now. Thanks for coming, Eryn.
Thanks for having me.
So Eryn and I met. Like I said, I was laid off last summer, past June, and when I posted on Facebook about just that I was looking for something, and preferably something in the studio, like a studio. I'm taking classes at PCC in the Sonic Arts program to be an audio engineer. I'm also a musician, but that was just the direction I want to go. And so somebody tagged Eryn, and Eryn reached out to me. And what I was really struck by was that Eryn just reached out and just said, "Hey, I may not have a position open right now, but I run a studio out of my house, and which she'll tell you about in depth in a moment. And I just really want to share this space and build community here. And so if you're interested at all, I think we need community right now." And I was like, that's my language. So I went and visited Eryn, and I saw what was pretty amazing. I got the tour of her house. So before I get into it, I'm going to turn my paper not upside down, and then I'm going to interview. I just want to ask you, Eryn, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I want like your background and education in music, what instruments you play, what areas of the industry you work in. Just go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've been involved in music pretty much my entire life. I began, playing guitar at age 8, and at 10 started taking piano lessons, and it just basically grew from there. As far as taking lessons and being part of band programs and throughout the years. And by the time I got into high school and was nearing the end of high school, and having participated in marching band and jazz band and just all the ensembles that were available to me, I knew that my teachers growing up, and my high school band director in particular, were just really instrumental in my upbringing as far as music was concerned. So I knew that I would go on to do music as my career. And I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like at that time, but I knew that teaching had to be part of it, and continuing to play music needed to be part of it. So went into music school, and my undergraduate degree is a woodwind degree from U of O, and which I had to pass senior level on 3 of the 5 woodwinds. So flute, clarinet, and saxophone were my majors in school. So that's a performance degree. But then I went continued my education and got my master's in music in teaching. So and my life has pretty much taken both of those paths kind of throughout. I spent 27 years teaching music in schools, and by music I mean everything from general music to beginning and advanced band, jazz band, choir, drama, everything that has had to do with music. And also in high school as well, taught drumline and concert band and jazz band and all those sorts of things.
My dad teaches drumline.
Yeah, and I absolutely love it. And I taught a lot in small schools that didn't necessarily have a huge budget, so a lot of those instruments and things, that I saw a need for because kids wanted to do it, I made sure that they got them. So a lot of my personal money went into those sorts of things too, just to provide kids with the opportunities that they just were really itching to have.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
And through all of those years of teaching, I still kept up on the performance side. I did over 100 musicals in Portland and the surrounding Northwest cities, as far down as Ashland and up to Seattle and all over the place. So music theater has been a big point of my life. And I've also played in lots of different bands and had my own bands. So, playing drums in bands, bass, guitar, and my Lava Lounge Orchestra, playing a little bit of everything, including flute and auxiliary percussion and all that kind of stuff. So, and through my experience too of teaching and also having my own bands, I've done a lot of arranging and a lot of orchestration, and I really enjoy doing that. So I think that those experiences also has helped me prepare me for what I'm doing now with producing and things of that sort, because I've just worked on that type of thing for so long.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's, I guess, most of my story.
I think that's at least 30% of it.
Part of it, yeah.
Yes. God, I feel like there was something else I was going to say about that. But yeah, so I forgot to, this is what I think it was. I forgot to mention that, as you all may have seen on the flyer, tonight's subject that we're exploring is do it all and DIY, or DIY and do it all. I don't know. I came up with this title really quickly. But and the idea, and I think Eryn is a perfect example of sort of both of those things. And I think about DIY, and there's a lot of ways you can look at DIY. When I see you, Eryn, I see that you've done a lot of things yourself. And I've seen, and that you also pretty much do it all. I mean, I know that you've got a couple people, like you've got your wife Jennifer, and then Lisa, who are both in a band with you as well. And that's Liberty Williams.
Yeah, Liberty
that's the
Williams,
band, Rock and Roll Originals and Covers. And so they all kind of work together, and but you've held, you've definitely done a ton, and didn't get this, got here with a lot of like elbow grease and putting in the time and stuff like that. So, so yeah, tell us about. I'd like to know what Queen Jane Studios is, and if you can tell everybody the sort of breadth of what Queen Jane does, and then and what kind of inspired you to start it.
Well, my inspiration to start this really is just kind of grown out of everything that I've done in the past as my experience. But I decided that I really wanted to be able to work for myself. All those years of working in schools, I wouldn't trade a minute of that. But there's always some obstacles, with different administrations and budgets and a whole swirl of things that can kind of come at you and that you have to navigate. And I just wanted to be able to have a little bit more control over my programming and what I wanted to be able to offer and saw it as a need to offer. So That's kind of my inspiration for starting this. But it's kind of a continuation of really what I've always done. And as far as what we do, Queen Jane Music Studios, yeah, we are a DIY organization as far as how we've managed to put the studio together. From building interior walls and building stages and all everything that goes into to the building and the decor, and just making aesthetically a space that is comfortable for folks, but also inspiring. When people come to our venue, or they come to record a vocal or take a guitar lesson, when they step inside, it's a comfortable, inviting space. So, but that doesn't happen by accident. Definitely,
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the dream. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, like when I heard you were doing this, I was like, man, that's like everything I'd like to do. That's really awesome. And what I think the thing that people often don't have is the space. I think out of all those things, we're all doing, a lot of us are doing a bunch of things. A lot of the things you were listing, but the space is the dream, I think. And I don't know if you mentioned, this is out of Eryn's home. This venue that she started. So there's an actual venue in Southeast Portland, not in a commercial area, which I have to, like, I don't know how you got around, but I think is awesome. Like, and also, like, you would never guess. I walked in and it was like, it looks like a big garage with two sides on the outside, but when you walk in, it's kind of a really spacious, awesome venue with like a tiki bar in it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and like really well decorated, awesome, and like a koi pond outside and stuff. So, tell me more about what happens, what kind of events you have there.
Yeah, our event space, like Renee mentioned, does contain. Well, it's basically got two sides to it, but it's connected inside. So one side is primarily tiki bar space, and that does lead out to our gardens, tropical garden, and there is seating inside on that side, in which you can see the stage. On the other side, we have a 10 by 12 stage on this other side of the room, and some theater seating and some bistro tables, and just a lot of little spots to be able to enjoy what's going on stage. And we're coming up on our first year anniversary of having that space open. So it's really not been open for that long of time. So over these past few months, we've been really trying to come up with what we want to present there. So we've done a lot of different types of events. So we have had live bands, everything from surf, rock, instrumental, to the Gents of Chaos have played there a couple times, which is kind of a loungy, sci-fi, retro sound sort of band, with a lot of cool keyboards and guitars and horns, to ukulele trios, to heavy metal trio, to cello and art installation group. So it really has kind of run the gamut as far as the different types of live musical groups we've had over the last year. And then we've also done other sorts of events that we've kind of tried out, and some have worked better than others, but we're trying to figure out through all of this, what the community wants and what they need really in their lives. So some of the things that we have found that have worked for us have been our drag shows, which we do every other month now. So we have another one of those coming up this Friday, and then another one in July, for Pride Week. Those are really well attended and fun, and we're working with a particular person that is working with me and getting the talent for those, and it's just worked out really well, and people enjoy that, so we're continuing that going. We just started an open mic this last month, and just yeah, for the first one, it was heartwarming, to see the people who showed up, and even one of our neighbors saw our A-frame sign out front and came in and asked, do you have a guitar? And yeah, sure enough, we have plenty of guitars here.
I got a few.
And do you got a capo? Well, yeah, we got a capo, and sure enough, sang 3 beautiful songs.
I love
So it's just it's been heartwarming, to meet people in our neighborhood and our community, and share our space with them. We've had our karaoke nights. We've had our cozy nights, which are popular.
I wanted you to talk about that. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, our cozy nights kind of grew out of the fact that we kind of wanted to have a game kind of night that was kind of relaxed, but with a little bit of a different take on it, because we also just open the space. My wife makes a pot of soup, and so there's usually soup and bread and kind of community, with the food aspect of it. But then, we have games available, but people can bring their crafts, bring their crochet, and they can be as social or as antisocial as they want to be, and just, be present. And, we'll listen to music and just have a time of just being able to relax around each other. And I think it's really worked out well.
I just think that's so cool, because I think that people think of music venues as, like it's. I think that venues, I guess I just want venues to be more than just the straightforward, like we host music, we serve beer, and we serve the bar, and we do loud bands all the time, and I know there's like there's definitely plenty of venues that do like a wide variety of types of music and stuff, but I think what I'm trying to say is that when I love when people hang out in a different way than just going out to the bar, and I think providing a space for that, when it's like not surrounding alcohol all the time, is great. And that's all. I just think it's great. I also love that you said that you were hosting your neighborhood Ice Watch meetings there, stuff like that. So I love that. It sounds like it's a very community vibe there. And how have the neighbors responded? Do you think? What would you say? How are things going with the business? Like, what's it like to be a venue owner, and what have you learned from running this venue?
Yeah, I think definitely the venue part of our business is probably one of the most challenging parts of it. We also do our education and our recording and mixing piece at our studios. But all of that is a little more natural to me, as more of a musician and kind of a behind the scenes sort of person. But to run, an event space, which is just a special event space, but so we're not open all the time, but we have these these happenings. But yeah, it can be a challenge, and it's been just as far as figuring out our programming, the 3 of us working together on that. It has been helpful to have the 3 of us working together on that part of it, and to knock ideas around, and to have our ideas being heard, and to work together on that. But the actual running of it, as far as all the preparations, all the shopping that needs done, and the cleaning, or organizing and getting ready for a particular event, and then being present for the event is the most fun part. because that's where the magic happens. But in order to get to that magic, there's a lot of preparation that comes before and then also after. So I think that's probably the hardest part is that, I think people think of a venue as, just the time that it's open and that the event's happening, but there's so much more that surrounds it behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I realize that I have been focusing more on the venue with these questions because I think it's so unique for you to have a venue running out of your house. And I think everybody should know about it because I think, and also like you make a point to celebrate or to support marginalized groups and have like a very queer friendly space. And I think we need more of that. And there's kind of, a lack of, gay bars around and stuff at this point too. So I think having more of those kind of spaces is great, and I think that the vibe you put out and the things that you do are just very welcoming, So, but I wanted to ask, what other projects are you working on right now, and if you want to talk a little more about your studio too, you can do that too.
Right now I'm working on a curated EP. And we've taken submissions from the community and the community at large, and people who want musicians who want to be included in it. It's focused on the time period we're living in right now in America, and that there's been a lot of feeling around that idea of protesting what's going on. And it was interesting. We were at a neighborhood block party last summer, and some of the folks were talking about protest music and how it's like where's the new protest music, because everyone just it comes to mind that our past protest music, and but there's been protest music all along. All along there's always something to maybe fight up against the what's happening with our government and those sorts of things. So and with what we're all dealing with right now, there is a lot of music being written around that. So we've been taking submissions to be part of the EP, and so I've been working on mixing a lot of those projects that are coming to us, and then mastering it to be released.
Yeah.
And then we're also we'll do a digital release of it, and then we also want to have an event and
release party.
Yeah. And as many of the people involved, as possible, have them come and do their music live for everyone. So,
are you still taking submissions?
Yes,
okay.
We are. Yeah.
Okay. Let's make sure afterwards to tell people, or I guess, is there an easy? Is it at queenjanestudios.com or?
Queen Jane Music. .com.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Let's make sure people get that information and stuff if you do want to. So you just submit a protest song.
Yeah. I mean, there's a questionnaire there.
Okay.
So we want to, make sure that the music fits the scope of what we're looking for. But,
cool.
But yeah, it's pretty easy to do, and probably won't be open for too much longer, so that I can try to.
Yeah, if you're already mixing and mastering.
Yeah,
at this point.
well, at least the mixing part of it, until everything's ready to go. But yeah, that's been a big project for me to be working on in the studio, and then we're still open for tracking sessions, in which we have some of those happening as well, and I do have some other mixing projects that I'm working on.
Cool.
For a couple other musicians right now, so trying to get all that scheduled and going is happening. And then we also give lessons,
Yeah.
group lessons and individual lessons, and so that's ongoing as well.
Yeah. And when I met her last summer, she was also working full time at the post office.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to hear that you've been able to take that leap away from that at this point.
That's right.
I don't know how you were doing all that, but
Not sure.
so I do I think I might ask you just a couple more questions.
Sure.
Given the time, even though I'm really enjoying talking. So I want to know, like, what do you feel like your identity has shaped or inspired your music career, and as a woman or a part of the queer community, and if so, how? Like,
Yeah, I think it's been one of those things that being in the music industry as a woman over the years, it's sort of shifted a little bit at times, but there's that sense of just trying to be one of the boys,
Yeah.
and but you're always in kind of that competition with them. Maybe it's not always a spoken competition, but I just feel like there have been times in my life where whether or not it's running sound for an event somewhere, or music directing a musical, where there's just been times every once in a while where I felt maybe I would be heard more if I was a man,
Yeah.
or my ideas taken a little more seriously, or been valued more.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say that has happened a lot in my life, but it has happened. To the point where I can recall certain instances of that, and
For sure.
yeah, and just not felt comfortable. Comfortable in my own skin and comfortable in what I have to offer,
Mhm.
but not comfortable in the fact that maybe I didn't get a particular job, or or in the same room with a man that's also speaking, and just having that eye contact, not even coming into my direction,
Yep. Yeah.
sort of thing. So, those times have happened, and as a queer woman, I can think of times too where I haven't necessarily been, you know, included.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think we kind of have to. I mean, it's another reason, I guess, why doing what we do now is so important. Is just to be able to give everyone a chance to be heard and to be valued,
Sure.
and to have that experience that they should be having, and in a comfortable, accessible space, because it's just not available, I think, to women in particular, yeah, and people who identify as queer.
And I think you've done that. I think you've really taken those experiences and opened up your own space for that's, again, celebrating the queer community in your venue. And just even, being a role model in some ways too. I mean, obviously you've got like a full education in music, and there's no reason somebody needed to look away from you or not listen,
Yeah.
So, and I repeat this every single night owl, so this is probably going to be my catchphrase at this point. But I feel like whenever you don't see yourself somewhere, that you tend to create your own space, or do your own thing. And I see that you've done that for yourself, and that's something that I've always done as well. So, and I think that's why a lot of people are here, creating the space at Night Owl. So I love that you're doing that with Queen Jane. So,
Thanks.
so I just want to know, like, do you feel like you're working full time in music? Do you feel like you're living the dream at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it is a dream to for me to be able to take all of the facets of my musical life and all my experiences, from everything that I've done in the past, and kind of bring it all to fruition, and yeah, and do it in such a way that is important to me. And like I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't change a single minute from all my teaching, in schools or in playing Broadway shows and musicals and playing in bands and stuff. I wouldn't trade any of those experiences, but to take what I've learned from all of them, and create what we have now, it is a dream.
That's awesome.
It is a dream.
And I mean, even despite like, how running a business can be, have all the like unsexy parts of things, going to the grocery store and all that kind of stuff, it's great to hear that, like, as hard as you work and that you really truly do everything. It sounds like, I'm glad to hear that you feel like you're living the dream, and I can see that, and I can see that you've got something really great going. So thank you. I just want to let's give a round of applause to Eryn Bloom for coming here today from Queen Jane Studios. So please take some time to talk to Eryn. Actually, I want to open up the floor if anyone has any questions for Eryn before we get off stage. So does anybody want to? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah. So when is the open mic?
We are doing it the last weekend of every month. We're trying to do it on Fridays, last Friday of the month. This particular one that's coming up will be on the last Thursday, though. Yes, it is posted on the website. We do have a Instagram and Facebook presence as well, and we also try to post our events on some of the calendars that are out there.
Yeah. And you're looking for people to book as well, like any songwriters or any bands, like in particular. Are you always looking for bands to play?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Music oriented or spoken word, any sort of performance based work.
I think what I'll do is follow up in an email after this. If you make sure you're on the email list, I'll follow up with Eryn's information, how to submit to that compilation as soon as you can, and then also just the website and stuff like that, so you guys can check out more. So I had a question in the back over here.
Yes. No. Yeah, it's from the street it really doesn't look that big like Renee says, but yeah, you walk in, it's actually, if you can, it's probably as big as this room, our venue space with both sides, and then the studio is downstairs in the home. So that's the recording space and the teaching space primarily.
So kind of in the basement, right?
Yeah.
So, Alina. I'm going to repeat that question just because it's on video. But so Alina asked, what are you most proud of as you're approaching for your 1 year for your venue, 1 year anniversary?
Yeah, I'm proud that we've made it this far. I think, it's been a little bit of a struggle trying to, make all this work. And so I'm pretty proud of the fact that, my wife and Lisa, we're continuing to work well together. I think it's sometimes hard too to find people that support you, through all of the ups and downs of things. And so I'm pretty proud of that, the way we work together. I'm proud of the fact that our community has, as far as our neighborhood, is being active with us, and we're looking for ways to include our neighborhood folks, and they are of us. So I'm pretty proud of that fact that we're getting to work with our neighborhood people, and I'm just proud to be a business owner, and to make this space accessible to everyone. I think there's a lot. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but I'm proud that we're a year in here.
Any other questions, Annie?
Is there going to be an anniversary show?
There needs to be. We were just
I think
talking
so
about that
too,
tonight.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll get on the planning of that one. Yeah, I think we should.
Yes, Lisa.
Eryn, would you like to talk about our upcoming Women in Music series?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are starting a Women in Music series that we'd like to do monthly, and yeah, we are looking for people to want to be involved in that. So we would love anyone here to be involved in that, or if you know someone who might want to be involved in that, we'd appreciate you letting us know. Yeah.
I'll add that to the email.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that, and the other thing that we'll have coming up too that we want to get the word out about is our adult rock camp that we're going to have
That's right.
this summer too. So that I think has been a popular thing in Portland, and not really happening now. So
I know.
So yeah, that as well. We want to get the word out about that.
I think we had one more from Amber, and then we'll go to Catherine.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I got to bring it back to the studio.
It's okay.
How many channels do you have? Do you have a vocal booth? Like, what are your rates?
Yeah, we do. I do have a 32 channel ghost board, and a bunch of outboard gear that can go along with that on the way in and on the way out, and mixing. We do. I have a bunch of movable kind of partitions and things to make the space that we have work for different sorts of recording setups. So we're not the biggest recording studio, like square foot wise, compared to some of the other bigger studios in town, but we definitely have the equipment that we need, and the experience that we have as far as being able to run it, and be able to move it into different ways that work for those who come in.
Are you a one-stop shop, or can you do like recording, mixing, and mastering?
Yeah, we can do that.
So just for the video purposes, Eryn could do recording, mixing, and mastering.
Yeah.
So. I know it seems silly, but we're recording. Let's go to Catherine, and then maybe we'll wrap it up because we do need to get to the discussion. But go ahead with Catherine.
This is probably a mix of like questions you want to answer and questions you don't want to answer.
Okay.
What structure did you incorporate under business-wise? Are you profit or nonprofit? Are you profitable after 1 year? Do you have any specific benefactors of the space or of the venue? And if so, how did you build those relationships?
Yeah.
Great questions.
Yeah, those are all good questions. No, we don't have any benefactors. We are pretty much, existing. Well, I guess we are looking at becoming a nonprofit, but we are a LLC at the moment. Yes, LLC at the moment. And so, I've kind of taken my personal funds to get this up and rolling, and with the costs that are involved with that. But no, we don't have any benefactors, and I wouldn't say that we are completely profitable at this point yet. I'm not sure how many small businesses are after 1 year. I'm sure there probably are some, but I think we definitely see this as, a building time for us.
I think you said that some nights were like definitely you have good events that are
Oh, yeah.
profitable and some are probably more community oriented and maybe not as like do you do free events sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of our and all of our events are free to our neighborhood folks, and yeah, we do have some events that are just free in general, and when we don't turn anyone away for lack of funds. So that's we would love to be profitable, but we're also trying to meet people where they are, and that's been kind of a difficulty, a little bit of a struggle, but at times. But we are
True to your values.
yeah, we're committed to it.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you for being so open about that.
Yeah.
And then just to be clear, I'm not asking because I'm profitable. I'm asking because these are questions
Oh,
I
yeah.
deal with every day too. So
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing.
No, I appreciate the question.
Let's give one more round of applause for Eryn, and go ahead. Thank you, Eryn. That's the end of our video. Let's take until about 8:05, so about a 7-minute-ish break, and then we'll come back to a discussion more about DIY and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much, and grab some snacks, please.